That's another accomplishment of this past year. The May 17th Accord signed by Lebanon and Israel. If terrorism and intimidation succeed, it'll be a devastating blow to the peace process and to Israel's search for genuine security. It won't just be Lebanon sentenced to a future of chaos. Can the United States, or the free world for that matter, stand by and see the Middle East incorporated into the Soviet bloc? What of Western Europe and Japan's dependence on Middle East oil for the energy to fuel their industries? The Middle East is, as I said, vital to our national security and economic well-being. Brave young men have been taken from us. Many others have been grievously wounded. Are we to tell them their sacrifice was wasted? They gave their lives in defense of our national security every bit as much as any man who ever died fighting in a war. We must not strip every ounce of meaning and purpose from their courageous sacrifice. We're a nation with global responsibilities. We're not somewhere else in the world protecting someone else's interests. We're there protecting our own.
Respond to what you heard there, and I remember thinking as I'm listening to this, how you could insert the words Afghanistan or any of the other countries that we've had since then that where American troops have been.
Absolutely. President Reagan was describing very clearly the goals of what he wanted his strategy to be, which is to say, to display American strength and resolve and credibility in the region as a dependable partner and ally. Now, again, the Beirut case was a learning case for President Reagan, one that he did not handle perfectly. And actually, only a few months after this, against what he had hoped to do, he did pull the American troops out of Beirut. This was seen as a way to preserve American lives, as you could sense from what he's arguing against in his speech from the Oval Office there. There was a lot of questions over whether this mission was worth the price, and eventually President Reagan pulled out. It turned out that a number of years later, during the lead up to the Gulf War, when President Bush, Ronald Reagan's vice president, was trying to convince Middle Eastern allies to accept American military help in turning back Iraq's aggression against Kuwait in that case, the Middle Eastern allies said, well, we like the sound of that, but are you really here to stay? If we accept your help, will you see it through? Because, in the case of the Beirut bombing, that was not the case. Now, fast forward a bit, once President Reagan had more time to discuss and figure out with his advisors what we should do about this thorny issue of terrorism, he did come up with an approach to establish America's credibility and reliability, and that culminated in the bombing of Libya in 1986. Libya, similar to Iran, was sponsoring terrorist organizations throughout the region, and in 1986, using American military forces, particularly the Air Force and Navy, Reagan hit terrorist targets inside of Libya. And after that, Libya, which had been a growing problem, President Reagan called Muammar Gaddafi, the leader of Libya, the mad clown of Tripoli. After that point, what had been a growing threat then waned in the case of Libya, thanks to the approach of bombing terrorist targets there.